Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Power Platform Clinic. My name is Duncan, but I'm going to immediately throw you over to Ian.
So I'm Ian Tweedy. I am a senior technical consultant for a global IT firm, and I specialise in the Power Platform. I tend to sit on the end of the more technical bits of the Power Platform, custom connectors, plugins, all those sorts of fun things, reaching out to Azure and doing functions, DevOps pipelines. That's really my home. Okay with point and click I can do, but my home is really the more technical side of things. So that's what I do, and I'm going to pass you over to Duncan, who is my colleague in this.
Yes, very much colleague in this. Whereas I'm the complete opposite of Ian. I come from much more of the point and click side. I started in data, and my venture into Power Platform has been more of the functional consultancy side rather than the pro code side, although I'm getting there. I am currently a data and applications analyst at a manufacturing company. I was previously a functional consultant at a Microsoft partner, and I am the co-founder of the Norfolk Power Platform user group. And when me and Ian were at the first event for that user group, because Ian was talking, we have had a member of the audience, as it were, ask us a question. That question is it possible to have a Microsoft form that has text and images in it, then be converted to a PDF using Power Automate?
Let me see how we can do that. Right, let's throw open my favorite toy, Microsoft Whiteboard.
All the whiteboards back. 2 episodes in a row. What a surprise. There's a new bit of kit and he wants to play it. I did. And I very much enjoyed it on the first episode, so I'm keen to see this.
Okay, so let's start looking at this question here. So I'll just grab my whiteboard. So what we've got is we have a trigger. Well, we've got a form being filled in first. That's the first thing we've got. So we've got MS. MS form.
That has both text and images.
Text and images. Okay, so that's our input. And then our output. Let's have a look. Probably around about here. What we're after is a PDF, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That is the end goal, yeah. So, yeah, sorry. The ultimate goal of this is they want it to then come out as a PDF, yes.
So to make things easier, I think what we'll do is we'll make it so it emails the PDF, but you could save it somewhere like OneDrive or save it into SharePoint. But that doesn't really matter for what we're trying to do today. We just want to get to a PDF, and we'll email it because we want to output it somewhere. And email means we don't have to worry about anything else. I'm just going to tidy this up because it's annoying me. Okay, so how can we do this? So let's go to our. Didn't mean to do that. So let's go to our Power Automate flow. So what we're going to do is we're going to trigger a Power Automate flow.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do our trigger. And what that trigger is going to be is when a form, I think it's like when a response is received or something like that.
Yes, well, yeah, when a form response is received, yeah.
I'm not, this pretend I can spell received. So that's our first step.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing we're going to do, because I don't think you get much data in that, I'm fairly sure from memory, you have to then go and get form responses or something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you then have to select each question that you want the response from and add that. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because I think it brings down like the schema of the questions, so then you can just select them. And for me, I think the easiest way to get to a PDF is via HTML.
Right. Tell me
So
more.
what we'll do is we'll grab, a scaffolded HTML page, probably a table.
Yep.
And what we'll do here is we'll have a compose. What we'll do is we'll just build this out in the compose. So if I go over here, and let's zoom in over here. And I'll draw roughly what it is we're going to try and get out. So if I pick a different color, let's go green, dark green. So what we probably want is we want a HTML page, and we want some kind of H1 tag that says question responses.
Mm-hmm.
And then on there, we probably want question. Now, it doesn't bring the question through from memory. I think we'll have to type that in, and then we'll bring the response in. Bring the response in as like a variable. It's not a variable field, like I forget the name of it, but basically where you look up, it's what lives under the Thunderbolt, and we'll end up with like a table, and this will probably be a HTML table, and we'll have, question 1, which might be picture,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll have like a picture of Duncan, and then we'll have age. I don't know, how old do you look, Duncan?
Oh, how old do I look? Well, I'm 34 years old, so you can give me whatever age you want. So 50. Wow. Wow. Okay.
No, I won't be that mean.
You're going for 40 instead, aren't you? No,
I'll be nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it'd be nice. So, but you'll have your responses there. And now the picture will probably look massive and make our table look a bit ugly. But I think the point is to get to a proof of concept that works. We can then play with the HTML and make it look, beautified, and however it is this person wants it to be. It's a web page that you can pretty up as much as you'd like. Obviously, you won't use JavaScript or anything like that. It's all got to be CSS and HTML. But you could do quite a lot with CSS and HTML.
Definitely.
Okay, so that is, if I just, what we're building there. And then if we zoom in, if I change back to purple, that was the same purple. Yeah. We'll find out in a minute. The next thing we're going to do is, I think we'll probably want to save this. There'll be some kind of conversion. I'm just gonna put conversion in, because we'll find out when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine we're probably going to save it to like OneDrive or SharePoint or something like that as a HTML, because I think there is a convert to PDF action in the OneDrive connector, and that could be quite handy here.
Mm-hmm.
It only moves when I put 2 fingers on, so I keep forgetting to put both fingers on the screen. I know. You think I could use technology? Then finally, what we're going to do is we're going to email it. And if I've sorted this right, yep. Scope-wise, because we'll probably tie this up in some scopes. Now, I like to put letters on my scope so they tie up to my documentation nice and easily. It's a very simple way of tying things together. So, if we go, you can't put a scope around the trigger. We can put a scope around this, and we'll do like, and that can be like try A. And what we're doing there is we're getting the data. So that's the main objective of what we're doing. We're trying to get the data and format it up. We'll then have probably scope B. So that'll be try B. and that'll be conversion, and all our conversion activity will go in there. And then finally, we'll have scope C. We won't configure any error handling on this because it's just a POC, but you would then configure error handling on those. If each one failed, you'd then do something with it. Does that sound like a plan, Duncan?
It does. It does. I'm excited to give it a go.
Awesome. Let me stop playing with my toy, my fancy screen, and let's have a look at it.
Okay, going to do a bit of a Blue Peter moment here. Here is a form I prepared earlier. Our first question is, here is question 1, and question number 2 is image here with a file upload. We've already done a couple of responses just so it's easier and we don't have to go through that. And then we are going to build our flow. So our flow is here from scratch. I'm just going to give it a convenient name of Power Platform episode 5. About full stop. And we are going to get going. So what should we start with?
The first thing to pop in is when a new response is submitted. I don't think I've got used to this new interface yet. I've spent so many hours on the old one.
I completely know what you mean, but it's I don't dislike it. Don't get me wrong. It's okay. It's just change.
It's just not home.
It's just not home. That is a good. Ian is phoning home. Oh, okay. So when a new form is submitted, I've selected the form we're going to go for, and the next step is drumroll, please.
So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to open up a scope. Now this is just to help organize our flow and line it up with our documentation, and it makes it a bit easier to troubleshoot. So I like to use them. Now, different people have different schools of thought. I like to do try A, try B, try C, and then line that up with the design that we've proposed or any documentation that comes out afterwards.
Awesome.
Just up.
There I know. Oh, yeah. You want me to rename it now? No, sorry. I was just
yes, please. Sorry. Yeah.
No, you're fine. And inside the try A, we're going to
get response details.
Yes, we are. So this is the step where we physically get the things from the form. So we're going to select our form, response ID. So we're going to go over to the lightning bolt. Am I correct?
Yes, it is the lightning bolt.
Awesome. And we're going to get the response ID from the actual form that has been submitted back to us. Yep. And then the next step is...
Right, we want to parse some JSON actually at this point. And to do this, we're going to need a previous submission of the form, and we're going to need the output of that get response. So do you want to Hoya compose in? Because I'm not sure, because some of the components don't kick out the body anymore. So let's throw a compose in, and just the object we want to throw out is the body of the previous step.
Get
response details. That body there. Down.
That one there. Okay.
Yeah, that's the body we want. And then let's save that and let's trigger our flow.
Sorry, what next?
We're going to trigger our flow. So.
Oh, okay. We're actually going to give this a go. Okay.
So we need a copy of our response from that compose. Yeah, so we're going to have to you're going to have to populate out the form.
No. Yeah. Copy.
Not Duncan is amazing. Just Duncan.
Yeah, Duncan will do.
I hope that's a picture of one of your holiday snaps.
It is not one of my holiday pictures. It's also not a picture of one of my dogs, or my only dog. It is just one of my LinkedIn content things. So it is run successfully, and we are going to check for the output of the compose. So
you show more outputs.
Yes.
Fantastic. And if we just copy that.
Yep. And where would you like it? My dog is growling for no apparent reason.
Just go back to this. Just have a look at that response again.
Okay. Hello, shush.
Right. So the bit actually we want is, you see this last object here, this R53327.
Yeah.
So this is like a nested JSON object, but do you see these funny slashes in it?
Here.
That's because it's encoded. It's URL encoded. Well,
okay.
So we can handle that. But what we want is that object. So what's going to be the best way of getting this? You've got a copy of this on your clipboard, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. Copy that copy the name of that object. So that bit. Copy that. Okay, and then let's do another compose after this one. I'm going to try and convert that JSON object so it's no longer URL encoded. So if we get that, well, yeah, we're going to want the FX actually, because we're going to write a little bit of script. This low code nut stuff tool very quickly turns into a slightly codey tool, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to type JSON. My mate Jason, yep.
My mate Jason.
My mate Jason, open brackets. Wrong brackets, mate. We want curly brackets.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry. Wrong. Sorry, I didn't mean curly brackets. I meant that's the ones. I don't know what they're called. Someone will tell me what they're called. And then we're going to go at dynamic content, and we're going to do get response details body, and then we're going to modify it slightly. Where is it? That one there. Get response details body. Yes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put just after see the green. Yeah. Go back a space. Put a question mark in for me, please, sir. Square brackets. Single speech mark. It will put 2 in. And you're going to type. Well, you're going to paste that thing.
Yeah.
How did you know?
I know. It's almost like I might slightly know what I'm doing and not just a performing monkey.
So let's add that and let's see if we're getting a JSON object kicked out. So we can, this time we can do a run a previous. Oh, I thought we'd have a run previous job.
Save it. Yeah, I needed to save it for it to do that.
Ah.
Yes. It's not my first rodeo.
So
Great success.
Compose one. Look at that. So what we've got here is we've got some details about our file. So we've got week 2 Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a URL, so a link. We've got an ID. We've got size. So all these pieces of information we can use in different ways depending on what connector we're using. So I actually do have a connector that can use the ID and the drive ID. Yeah. Another one of my tools that's available out there. But actually
on mytora.org.
mytora.io.
Oh, sorry. Apologies.
But today we're going to use out of the box connectors. So we're going to want that link. So to make this slightly easier, we're going to copy because this is we're going to copy this.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to parse it? I'm just trying to think. Do we need to parse it? Let's parse it just for good measure. So let's copy that and then let's go click edit and let's parse it.
Okay.
It's a purple one. There we go. And for content, you can select compose one as your content. And then upload payload.
Yes.
Paste in there.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's given us some lovely JSON. So the next thing we're going to do is, you see we only had a single object there. However, if we go back and look at it, if we've got it, can you paste it somewhere or have a quick look at it on screen?
Yeah, let me just.
So if we have a look at this, we have a JSON object, but actually it's inside an array of objects. Although there's only one of them, it's inside an array. So we need to address object 0 of that array if we want to pull anything out of there. So we're going to have to do something to do that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to we can go out to the maker screen, and we're going to put another compose in. And this time we're going to use the FX button.
Oh, okay.
And so not only do we need to pull that out, we also need to rip the front off it. And I'll paste in the chat the bit we need to rip off. But we need to put replace.
The chat never opened.
Copy and paste it into the chat. There we go. So what we're putting in now is replace, open brackets. Don't need the JSON. Yeah,
nope.
Take that out. So replace, open brackets. Then we've got our parsed JSON object. Then we're addressing the body of that object. Then we're doing the first object, so that's 0. And then we want the link out of it.
Yeah.
But we're also doing a replace at the same time. So we want that link, but then we want to, from that link, we want to replace the HTTPS tweedtechmy.sharepoint.com/personal/ so basically the beginning part of the URL. So if we add that step in,
give it a little whirl.
Yeah, let's see if that works. Brilliant. So we've now got our cleaned up URL. So what we've done is we've taken the encoded JSON we've got, we've converted it to JSON using that JSON command and wrapping it in brackets. We've then taken our JSON object and we've parsed it. We've then looked inside that JSON object. I don't think we needed to parse it, but we did it anyway. We've then grabbed from inside that object the first thing and then the link from inside that. And then we've ripped the beginning part of it off. Does that make sense? So there's quite a few steps going on there.
There is, but it does what we need it to. So I'm already going to guess I need another scope, don't I?
No, the next thing we need to do is we need to get our file content.
Of course.
Because this whole scope is about getting the file.
So what do you need from me now?
It's called get file using path.
File content using path.
Oh, that's SharePoint. We're in OneDrive.
Are we?
We are indeed, yes. It does. It stores the files in your OneDrive.
Yes, of course. But so I was thinking because it said about my SharePoint on the last step, didn't it? But it's not. It's OneDrive. You were right. Get file content.
File content using path.
Yeah, name of the path, and we are going to look for
so we don't want to select it from in here.
We're
going to bring it in from that URL in Compose 2.
Okay, yeah.
So if we click on there, we want to click on the Thunderbolt. And then
we
this
want
click on compose to
compose
output.
to output. Yeah, you're right. I was going on a goose chase.
Cool. So let's save that and give it a test.
Testy. Oh, we failed.
What could be wrong?
A resource could not be found.
I'm not sure, because although that is a correct URL in terms of that's an encoded URL, because put the 20% in, I don't think that connector likes that, because that's quite a low-codey type connector.
Yeah.
So should we try and remove those 20%?
We should
so
indeed.
I'll show you how to remove those. So we don't use the replace command. If you click back into that get file content using path,
Yep.
you get rid of that body, and let's use the FX. Then we're going to type decode URI. I'm sure it's like, yeah, decode URI component.
Oh, yep.
If you open brackets, this works very much like the JSON one, where it will take something that is JSON but encoded and give you back an actual JSON object. What we're putting inside there is we're putting that output from, I think it's compose 2. So you get dynamic content. There we go. Right, if we add that, give it a test, I bet you it gives us back our file.
See.
Fingers crossed. Results.
Amazing. Let's have a look at the output. So I'm just going to move me and Ian out of the way. And this is the output. Which is lots of stuff.
Okay, so what we need, this is important because a lot of people can get lost here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to create a HTML file.
Okay.
However, what we'll find is that we can't just embed an image into a HTML file. So usually you have your image separate to your HTML file. So you'll have like underscore PNG and it will refer to a PNG. For this to work, we need to actually put our image inside our HTML file.
Ooh, okay.
So we do that with base64. So that string there looks like a base64 string to me, which is an extremely sad thing to admit. So what we also need to do is we need to make sure we address it. So could you copy to your notepad that whole object for me? Because I think we'll have to come back to it later in order to get this working. Yeah. Has actually put the full base64 in as well.
Yeah.
If we go all the way up, yeah. Okay, cool. Right, so we've got that. Right, so what we're going to do now is going to drop some HTML in. Now I've got some HTML for you.
Repeat amendment number 2.
I will put a blog post out with this video actually to include all these snippets.
Yeah, great idea.
It's quite code heavy this. For a low code tool, I think it's really easy to slip into like code.
Yes.
And a lot of people can get scared away from it. There's nothing to be scared of. And of course, if you have any questions, bring them to the channel.
Yes, we'll happily answer them. We'll bundle through them.
Absolutely. Well, let's add a plus on the bottom there, and what we're going to do is we're going to build up our HTML file. It's a compose we want, mate. Sorry, I've confused. It's a compose, and then we're going to build up our HTML file in there. And if you copy and paste that in from the chat,
Into the FX?
Just into the inputs.
Oh, okay. All of this.
I've sent you a HTML file on the chat.
Yeah, sorry. Got very confused for a second. Yes, and I'd even copied it. There you go.
Well, hey. So what we've got here is just a standard HTML page, and I've put a table. I've put H2 tags in. Have I spelled questionnaire wrong? That is bad, isn't it?
Well, it's live in Technicolor. Can't do nothing about it now. It's staying.
Right. So, we've got a table, we've got a question, we've got a response. So that TH is table header tags. TR means table row. So our first line is question response. Our second line, our second row is here is question 1, and then I put response here. What we need to do there is we need to drop the dynamic object in for response 1.
Yes.
So if you delete out response here, and we need to get that Thunderbolt back, and it's really annoying actually sometimes. Sometimes you've got to click away and click back in. It's like the JavaScript doesn't quite know what's going on. There we go.
Thunderbolt.
And if we scroll down, we're looking after get response details.
Yeah.
Here is question 1.
That's the one. Yes.
Fantastic. Now for the second one, where I've put image here, you'll see that this isn't your standard way of dropping images into HTML. So what this does is it actually embeds the image into the HTML file.
Okay. Through base 64.
Yes. So got data : image / PNG. Did you upload a PNG file?
Yes.
Awesome. That may be something that would need to be made a bit more dynamic, actually. Okay, let's, and then where it says image here, we need to drop the base 64, the image in. Now, if you look back at your notepad file.
Yes.
The thing we're after, if you scroll up, probably quite a long way.
Yeah.
Then scroll down, is we're after the body. Oh, look, there's the body content type. So we could put that in. We'll put that in as dynamic. And then we've got the body content.
Yeah, from here.
Yeah. So we need to address that. However, if we go to the Thunderbolt and in order to drop dynamic content in, let's see if they're there. So if we take image here, for instance, first, and we try and drop the content in there, let's see what happens. So you get this object called file content. That's not right.
No. But should we test it just to see what it shows? What it shows?
Yeah, let's to test it, we'll have to go all the way through. So we need to create the next two scopes. So the next scope after this one. So this scope's all about building the file and getting the data. The next scope is all about converting the file. And then the final scope's about sending the file. So we'll have to do those two scopes first to see if it's worked. So let's go that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a file.
Yeah, I'm just getting the free tries ready. I'm going to go create a file. OneDrive or SharePoint?
OneDrive will be fine. And then you can stick it wherever you like.
Yeah. I will pick somewhere appropriate, I'd like to think. It will do. Oh. That'll do.
Give it a name. So what I usually like to do with things like this is I would call it UTC now. So if you go to the FX button and just call it, if you type UTC.
Yeah, UTC now.
And then, and then press add, and then .html in here. Awesome. And then the file content, it will be that composed, because it's just a markdown file, it will be that compose 3. Awesome. Now, we're not following best practices for naming objects here.
We are not. We are trying to do this for speed so that you don't have to watch it forever. But yes, we should be naming each of our steps properly. I know I've done try A, B, and C, but all the composers are just 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, we should be doing better, but we're trying to do it for speed.
We are indeed. We are indeed. So we do convert file. So this is a proof of concept. If you're rolling this out into production, you would, you pay a bit more attention to things like that. Yeah. So what we want in here is we want to go at the Thunderbolt, and we want to grab a dynamic object, and it will be the ID, that one there. Yep.
Okay.
And we can convert it to PDF. It already knows what we're going to do.
Yes.
Fantastic. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to send it to someone.
And is that going to be in our try C?
That is going to be our try C. Yes, that is correct, sir.
Just going to quickly log into this. Woohoo.
Do you want to send it to yourself?
Yes, I will. Yeah, let me. What is my email address on here? Good question.
First name dot surname at tweed.technology.
There we go. Subject. This is for the clinic. All right, the body of the email.
You put whatever you want in there because we'll be attaching the PDF as an attachment.
Awesome.
And then if you scroll down, we'll get advanced properties.
Yes.
Attachments.
Add new item. Attachment name. Oh, what do we want to give it the name of it to?
So at this point, you could be saving the attachments off to wherever you want, or you could email them to people. But today we'll just do an email. I don't know, call it questionnaire.pdf. And then for it.
I've misspelled it on purpose now.
Have you?
Yeah.
And then click on that Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
And then convert file, we want file content.
Awesome.
Awesome. Did we just say awesome at the same time then?
Awesome. Jinx.
That's a bit of a worry, mate.
Oh.
We are spending too much time together.
We are constantly recording videos. That's what it is.
All right, give that a test. Let's see what comes out. I have a feeling our image isn't going to work.
Ye of little faith. Moment of truth. It's created it.
It doesn't mean it works.
Confirm? Well, I like the tick. It gives me a good feeling, but I know it can be a false positive. So it's converted.
What has it converted?
Oh, the email has been sent.
I mean, if that's worked, I'll be shocked. Let's have a look at your Outlook.
Let's have a look at this PDF. Oh, that is a stunning example of it.
You love that image.
Do. Yes, I understand why privacy matters.
So we have a problem with that image, so we need to do something about that.
We do indeed.
So if we go back
to the convert part?
No, I'll show you where we need to go. If you click on edit, because it's not giving us that image as a base 64. It's not giving the content of the base 64. That's what we need.
Yes.
It's giving it as a file, which is why we've got all the funny question marks and stuff in it. It's a telltale sign. You get the same as what you'd do is if you dragged an image on your desktop into Notepad, that's what you would get.
Oh, interesting.
So the way to get around that, I know I had a big misspent youth, is if you click on that Compose 3.
Yep.
And if we scroll down to where we're dropping our image in, let's get rid of that body.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to do there is click there, and we're going to click on the FX on the other side of the speech marks.
Oh, this side.
Yeah, click on that FX button. Now, what we want to do is we need to address. We need to address that content object within the body. So, hit on dynamic content for me.
I'll do.
And then if we find, just hit on that file content for me and let's see what we're getting, because I don't think that's the right thing. Yeah. Oh, it's giving us the body. Okay, so inside of that body, we want to address, you remember we were using the question mark and the square brackets before?
Yes.
Let's go back to the question mark and the square brackets. So at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Question mark, square bracket, single speech mark. And then if you go to your notepad.
Yep.
It's called $content. That's what we're after. Down, it's under body.
Oh, yes. Sorry, the base 64 again, yeah?
We don't want to copy and paste the base 64 in.
Oh.
We just want the $content.
Oh, this. Yeah, sorry.
Of course, it's lost what you did. Of course, yes, Microsoft.
Pain. So I am doing dynamic content. I'm doing this. I am doing this and this. Look at me. I'm a real boy.
And then if you click on add.
Yeah.
Right, let's test that.
Oh.
So that should give us out the base 64 now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put base 64 in a HTML file, it renders the image and stores the image in the HTML.
That was a good sound. That means I've got a new email. Oh my goodness, it's worked. So my image, it's a very, very large image, and it's from one of my LinkedIn posts about finishing of the week 2. But this, for pixels wise, this is 3560 by 2860. So there is no wonder this does not fit on one page. But we actually have an image in an email from a Microsoft form.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Very, very cool. Oh, and just as a plug to myself, if you haven't signed up yet, I host 5 different newsletters called Zero to Hero, one for each of the Power Platform programs, apart from Copilot. So you've got one on Power Automate that goes out on a Monday, Power Apps on a Tuesday, Power BI on a Wednesday, and I then have Power Pages on a Thursday and Dataverse on a Friday. So if you want to learn something, give me a follow. Sorry, harmless plug.
Why not?
Okay, why not? Yeah.
So
exactly.
Let's see if we can make this one step better.
Okay.
Click on edit. So we don't know what file we're going to get. We should be getting PNGs or whatnot all the time. But see where it says data?
Yes.
Now, image/PNG.
Yeah.
That's what we want. Now, if we go back to our notepad.
Yes. I already know what you're going to say. We are going to put in content type and get it dynamically.
Yes, we are, because we might not always have a PNG.
Indeed. But why am I doing it like that? No, we want to go that. And then we want to go here. Then we're going to go here. But we do want body.
Yep.
No?
Yep. So in the body object, we're going to go question mark, single speech marks, content type, add.
Even I'm learning on these videos. You don't even believe. Let's go. Save. Let's give it a test. And this should work in exactly the same way. All we're actually improving now is the fact that we can have any image type come through based on the content type of it, and it will still appear just fine. Glad to say that has worked.
That is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, obviously, there are ways you can redesign that form. So that HTML we've got structured there, I don't think a table is necessarily the best way to do it for images, personally, because you end up restricting the size of the image. You may want to also, within that image tag, you may want to just go to Google and say, like, can I set a size for that image? So therefore it's only like so many pixels wide and not like
how mine showed. Yes, exactly. Although I don't think you can actually put that as a restriction on the form, can you? If memory serves, I don't think you can.
Can't put the restriction on the form, but you can put it on the HTML where it's rendering the image.
Yes, exactly.
So pretty cool stuff, really. Pretty cool stuff. Very cool
I
will drop all this in to a post I'll put out with this video. So we've got all the kind of the code detail that I've used in this example.
All right, I'll stop sharing so you can see both of our beautiful faces, because that's definitely what you're going to want to see.
I mean, I'm not been on holiday, mate.
Well, yes, I have been privileged to just come back off holiday. I've got a little bit of a bronze glow, and I've got a very needy dog that has missed me very much, so I'm in a very good place right now. But that was such an interesting question, and it came really organically from a user who attended the Norfolk Power Platform user group that both I organised and that Ian was a speaker at, and then one of our users sent me a question about a week afterwards. It's taken us a little bit of time to do this because of my holiday. I will happily admit. That's why you'll see a bit of a wardrobe change in this video, because ran out of time for my holiday to record the rest. But we are here, we are done, and this is episode 5. I'm going to say thank you, and Ian can do it for himself too.
Yes, thank you very much for watching. Please submit your questions, like, subscribe, comment as well, because that hacks the YouTube algorithm, and we really need to help hack that algorithm. And of course, until next time, stay safe.
Stay safe. Thank you.